Wow, before the stream even went live, 20 plus likes, guys. I really, really appreciate that. I just saw, really, really do appreciate that. Crazy. Some solid numbers here. Hey, did this stream just go live? You know what? I just literally got done explaining 5 minutes of stuff, and it looks like the stream just went live. Today really is not my day so far. This is what happens, guys, if you go to the post office before a trading day. So the mailman always gets me. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's a trend. The mailman gets me every time. If I make this brighter, oh, that doesn't really affect this. Hold on one second. Let me see. Before the stream even went live, 20. Okay, yeah, that stream started at a bad time. Okay, let's quickly wrap up here. First of all, guys, welcome back to the stream. Good morning. For everyone that's new, this is where we review the watch list and then we trade the market open every day. Hopefully everyone is feeling good, ready to go. I'm going to zoom through this as fast as possible because apparently the first half was kind of cut off here. Today is October 21st. It is a Wednesday, so typically a hot trading day. It's 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've got another 10 minutes here before the market opens at 9:30, and then we wrap up like always at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a little caveat today. I might wrap up early, and I'll tell you guys why in a second. Let me go ahead, throw this disclaimer on, and then we'll kind of review what's going on here. All right. So if anyone has been here for even, just honestly, probably just like a week or two, but for a lot of you guys here who've been here for a few months and even since maybe even the beginning of the year, you know that I have some pretty hardcore rules on when I get, when I stop trading for the day. Either I have 3 rate trades in a row, which I might actually remove that rule. I feel like I don't listen to it very closely, and I don't think it's very beneficial. If I'm down 10% on my max position size, remember that one. Or if I give back 15% of my profits once my profits are over 10% of my max position or my average position size. So let's think about this for a second. My average position size so far is in October here is $3,700, right? Not crazy. We had kind of a slower start to the month, and now I'm kind of, yesterday and the day before that, I think I've had, trades over $10,000. Very close, but like close to that $10,000 mark. So we're getting a little bit more aggressive with the size. I want to get this number obviously over to 5,000. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because pre-market today, I stumbled on ASTC pretty hard. I didn't get out quick enough on one of my dip trades, and blang, kadang, I'm down $469 pre-market. So technically, I'm over 10% of my average position size, right? Which means I'm stopped out of trading. I was thinking, if we see a really, really good setup and, just because the market's not even open yet and we're just starting the stream here and we got plenty of time, if I see another really, really, really good setup, I'll go in with half position size. And if I have another loss and I'm down over $500, then I'm totally out for the day. I'm just donezo completely. If I don't see another good setup, I'm already done. But if I see a really, really good setup, I like it, I'm going to jump on it with half position size. If that's a green trade, then I'll start trying to take base hits off of that one, progress, and maybe reduce this loss a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But otherwise, my day trading right now, pre-market, this is I think my worst pre-market trading session since of the year, maybe even. Oh no, we had that TOPS halt that I got stuck in. That was like $600 loss or something. Anyway, there's the update. So let's see how we gonna go from here. Aaron, I 100% agree with that statement. And that's why I'm already kind of like a little bit like, ugh, you know what, 500 is going to be that max zone because I could make 500 back, you know, in one day. So that's a hole that doesn't feel that big, right? But yeah, I don't want to start breaking my rules and stuff. Yeah, that's also very, very good rule, Darren. Don't try to make up your loss in the same day. That's a good one. That's more of like a good rule of thumb, almost more of like a mental game. Like you don't have to make it back. Anyway, yeah, it was a tough pre-market for me. Let's go ahead and review the gapper here. ASTC. You know, I think the problem I had with ASTC, in all honesty, is I was just a little bit too bullish on this one, and I'll tell you why. I don't really think it was the worst idea, uh, but after all, it is what it is. Let me zoom in here just a tad bit. So we had ASTC, NASDAQ, USA, Aerospace, and Defense Company, 5 million float, 14 million market cap. All these things are like exactly what I'm looking for, right? Then we have a non-invasive device that will use breath samples to identify coronavirus strains. Low cost, self-service, screening option, deployed on large scale. This is pretty big. I was not surprised when it was up 200% pre-market, especially on a 5 million float. I was like, this is huge because testing right now is very cumbersome. I just came back from Portugal. I didn't get tested, but my girlfriend did. She got pretty much tested for both of us, so to say. You know, you had to wait in line. You have to do this kind of like nasal thing where they kind of stick a swab pretty far down your nose and it's really uncomfortable. And then it takes like 48 hours at best for you to get a result. So I mean, in 48 hours, you could just be running around infecting people, right? So it's not ideal, especially at something like an airport or whatnot. So that's why I was like, okay, this is a catalyst that totally makes sense. I like it. And then, you know, had a big run up here, and I was like, okay, we had a nice bottom bounce here. I like what I'm seeing. VWAP looks like it's going to crack. Oops, where did I go? And when VWAP cracked, I was like, okay, I like what I'm seeing. I'm going to just take a base hit here, look for a 9 EMA retest. Didn't get that. It didn't pull back that much from my first entry because I had a pretty good conservative entry. Then I did one more, or actually two more sizes here, or three more sizes here, now I see it. And this last one, I was just like, oh man, this is not bouncing at all. And luckily, I did cut my losses at one point. I was down like 6% on this one, which, you know, not at my max stop yet, but I realized that this thing, you know, there's a lot of selling pressure coming on here. It was kind of painful getting out here at 39 because it felt like I was getting out at the perfect bottom, which to some extent I was maybe in the 1 minute candle time frame. Yeah, and then eventually we had a nice pullback here. I did bought this one looking for the 9 EMA retest. Didn't happen, took another loss, and then yeah, I don't know. This was a 20% run up, but I was no longer on board with this one, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, it's just like sometimes you're just a few minutes away from, you know, being green on the day. So that's kind of my setup here for today. Just a kind of a red day, and I'm going to take it kind of easy. If I see a really, really good setup, like I said before, half size, and we'll, you know, kind of go from there. But, you know, I'm only like $40 away from getting stopped out for the day. So, most likely we might already be done trading today, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. If I don't do any more trades, you know, we'll talk about swing trades maybe a little bit earlier today, and then, you know, I'll take maybe end the stream a little bit earlier, and then take that time to kind of, I don't know, enjoy a little bit of extra downtime this evening. get the head right. Hopefully we'll be back at it Thursday with a little bit more energy. Josh is wondering, how do you get past trading fear after a big loss? A fast flush every trade since then. Yeah, second guessing and trade. Yeah, really using small size. If I have like, even if I'm on a red streak where I have like 3-4 red days in a row, I usually have smaller red days because I use less and less position size. Now at one point, I don't know, I just kind of get out of that kind of fear, and then since I'm using smaller position size, I can start scaling. I don't know. It's a tough thing. I would say reduce your position size, get comfortable again, and then slowly start scaling up again. But yeah, there's no perfect answer there. It's a lot of just trial and error practice. I think, what I like to do is I like to look at my stats and be like, we've been doing this for quite some time. We have a winning strategy. We've been doing this for a long time. We're able to consistently take profits out of the market. Red days and, based on statistics, like I'm going to have red streaks. It's totally normal. So you just have to kind of put it all in perspective, understand, it's a long-term kind of game. And then sometimes you're just going to have, a little bit of a red day or a red streak or something like that. So it's okay. Losses are totally just part of the game. But if you're having issues managing your risk, then I would say go smaller size right away, and then kind of go from there. Well, guys, market's pretty much already about to open. Don't forget the first pinned comment below. You could get the watch list. So, all right, guys. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Like I said, I'm going to, take things pretty simple here. And if I don't trade the rest of the day, just you know why. Good luck, good luck. Well, yesterday was okay, Corey. About like 280 or something up green, and then the day before we were up like $800. So it's still a super nice green week. But never let one red day mess anything up. Here we go. When AP Pro the platform issues. It's so bad. It's kind of funny, but bad. ASTC instantly popping higher here, getting some resistance around 5, then pulling back. This could be a great support around VWAP. Let's see if it holds. I'd be very careful. The flushes on ASTC have been much more aggressive than I always predict. And then the rallies always tend to be much stronger, not allowing a lot of room for pullbacks. This whole rally here just barely touched the 9 EMA, and then the first time it did, it flushed below it. So it's a hard ticker to trade, I found. Quite the doji candle on ASTC at the moment. MRIN. Another gapper, 6 million float, US software application company. I didn't see any news on MRIN, so I was a little bit weary on possibly trading this one. Big sell-off so far. Steven, you're not supposed to follow people. If someone's sharing their trading, it's just to get a learning experience, right? See what someone else is thinking about it. Take your trades or yours alone. I wanted an edge. He trades so fast too. That's also true, Corey. ASTC here, guys. Trying to find some support around 4.5, breaking back above the 9 EMA. Interesting to watch. ASTC looks like it's going to break past the 525. If you think about it, how funny is it that if I just held everything, we would be having a huge green day right now. That's day trading for you. Sometimes it messes with your head a little bit. Whew, it's such a ferocious ticker though. It instantly pulls back ASTC and then rips back higher. Definitely fun one to watch for sure. Oh, yeah, Steven, that sounds like kind of something that I did today. Right now, ASTC could be having a healthy pullback, gearing up for that break of 5.5. That's what I would be looking for. I'm still a really big fan of ASTC's catalyst. I just am not a big fan of the price action. I feel like I haven't been on the right side of it yet today. Nice. Looking for that break of 5.5. Boom, instantly 558. This one's got such huge power behind it, guys. Remember, it has a 4 million float. Really, really nice float. Allows a company like this to be very explosive. Nice. Houston, if you're on the right side of things today and you're in a good flow, make sure to milk it. Nice, Mark. Congrats, man. Solid, solid, solid move. That was actually a really awesome entry at 444. Really good stuff, man. Just a perfect VWAP break and then reversal. 10% down from the open. Yeah, that was a perfect entry. Really good stuff, man. Mark. PLIN. A little bit nervous here with this one. I'd be kind of careful. PLIN also didn't have a catalyst from what I found. ASTC just had a pretty ferocious little dip back down to VWAP. I'm guessing this is a swing trade for PLTR. Be right back. TGC is good fun to watch. Lead gapper is definitely ASTC followed by TGC and then PLIN at the moment based on dollar volume. We don't really count SNAP because of the market cap, so it's in a small cap. Yeah, ASTC is looking mad suspicious, but either it's gearing up for that break of 5.5 or it's going to kiss those 4.5 levels soon again for a nice little double bottom. Let's see what happens. Yeah, TGC with that $1 a share flush, that's ridiculous on these prices. That's a 30% dip on TGC. Hopefully got out of that paradox okay. Didn't take the full smithereen. ASTC is having a huge breakout, 566 right now. PLTR has a lot of insiders selling it. Even Peter Thiel just dumped some of his shares. A lot of people selling in the 9s here. I wonder why. Nice breakout there. Perfect pullback at 5.5. Ain't that the truth, Corey? Corey, you riding this one? Brandon, how come you are long PLTR, sorry. What is the what's the trade thesis there? Beat Street Music, nice. 1K on ASTC, nice, man. Jay Smart, I think 520 to 550 is a bit more than a base hit. But pretty solid move for sure. Whew, what a dip on ASTC. Oh, well, there you go, Corey. Careful dip buying this one, guys. That's what put me in a tough position already. Smart move, Corey. Smart move for sure. Honestly, with such a ticker or with such a catalyst, I was expecting a little bit cleaner movement on this one. I didn't think it would sell off so much from pre-market highs. We pulled all the way down here, 50% down from pre-market highs. That's usually when I start discounting a ticker almost altogether. Thanks, Gwendolyn, for the $1.99 for the $2. I really do appreciate the support on the channel. Thanks a lot for that. On set, all day, every day. Well, in the meantime, I'm already doing some research here on Palantir. TGC looks like it's trying here to possibly attempt to break VWAP. Okay, well, it just hit it. Let's see if it has a continuation through here. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't like that it had a flush below VWAP last time. So if I was trading this possible move of a break of VWAP, I would be taking profits into the break of VWAP, and I would not be buying the breakouts. That's how I would be playing this one. Just my personal thoughts. Doesn't mean it's the right way, but just kind of what I'm thinking here watching this move. Nice move so far. All right, well. Nice break there. Perfect pullback and a continuation. Kind of impressed what I'm seeing. If you're tuning in here, you're new and you're not sure what's going on right now. I am kind of taking a break because we stopped out pre-market. So unless I see a perfect setup that I'm really crazy about, I'm pretty much done with trading for the day. So just doing some research right now and watching these tickers with you guys. And then in about 40 minutes, we'll switch over and talk about swing trades. Maybe a little bit sooner, actually. Probably sooner today. Thanks, Bren. Woo! Chillax, nice one. 650. Yep, Bren. I mean, Ben. Yep. ASTC falling off a cliff right now. Dip below VWAP. Be careful dip buying this one. It seems always to dip a little bit harder than I expect. Yeah, boom. You know, in normal dip buy, I would have been probably going long in the 70s. Then it quickly reached 60s. Now it's still pulling back. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a tough one. Thanks for the $2, Vanessa. Is that mood? I see a little bit of a mood emoji thing. Am I getting that because I look down today? Well, I mean, I am having a red day, but I'm not too down, I think. But it's never fun, I guess. %, Jonathan. That's a good approach. Looks like TGC might get halted here, watching it closely. Oh, ASTC just dipping so hard right now. I wouldn't even know where to dip buy this one. It's just not something I'd be touching at the moment. ASTC still dipping here. I thought it was going to bounce at 4.5, goes all the way to 4.3. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. 5-minute candle on ASTC is just absolutely wicked. TGC, that's a pretty strong pullback here. TGC with that really, really nice 10 million flow, 10 million market cap as well. Yeah, TGC just got totally taken over by Riley Exploration, huh? TGC holds it on the way down now. Ugh. Yeah, so when you're already not in the groove, I mean, some of you guys are probably slaying it today. Me personally, I was on the wrong side of ASTC, and I feel like TGC, I would have been on the wrong side as well. So if you're already going down that slippery slope of possibly a red day, and you're maybe already a red day like me, and you're hitting those max stop limits for the day, then there's a reason you have rules to stop trading. And for me, TGC, getting stuck in that flush or getting stuck in the ASTC flush, I mean, these were wicked pullbacks. Both of which could have put me over $1,000 red on the day, right? And then all of a sudden, tomorrow, I would be like, oh, I got to get out of a huge hole. And that's why you want to stop yourself out of trading every now and then. This is actually, I think, I don't know, I haven't done it a lot this year. I think this might be the first time actually with the unlimited account, maybe second time, but it doesn't happen a lot, let's just say. But yeah, when it does happen, you got to kind of listen to it, because there's no need to dig yourself a big hole. But we're still green on the week. We're super green on the month. This is still looking like it's going to be my best month. So everything is going really, really nice. There's nothing wrong with a red day. This is actually my first red day of the week. So pretty stoked overall. My stop loss limit is if I'm down 10% of my average position size. So my average position size this month is $3.6 thousand. And I went above that. I went below that, right? So I went below $369. So I stopped out. All right, take care, Paradox. Yeah, Robbie, man, it happens to us. Happens to us all. CRBP, we can check that one out. This one's TGC is going to open up fairly soon here, though. It's going to open up at pretty much 10:52. So let's go ahead, check out CRBP in the meantime. CRBP. Doesn't seem like there's too much volume though. Still selling off. It's a NASDAQ company below $1. I would probably hold it at this point. I don't know how long you've been holding this one, but if I was holding it and I was accumulating in the twos and I didn't stop out already, At this point, stopping out, I feel like at 92. It really depends on your cost average, right? But if I was accumulating at around $1 and now it's at 92, I mean, I'd be down about 8%. It's tough, you know. A ticker like this could easily have a catalyst come out and might do a reverse split soon. They're going to have to pump their stock price up because they've probably already got the news, or maybe not yet because it was only for a few days now, from NASDAQ that you got to get their stock price back up or else they're going to get delisted. So I could see this one trying to pump it a little bit. I don't know what this whole dip was about. I mean, it really depends. Let's see here. This dip was on the 9.8. So it looks like they had a bad result, phase 3 result. So it's always, you have to be careful with biotechs because once they have those bad results, they can fall off a cliff, and that's what you see here. So I don't know. I would it depends what your average cost is, but if I was averaging in around $1, I'd be holding probably at this point. TGC opening up, actually opened up, sold off a little bit, and then it had a nice move higher here, 12%, having that retest. ASTC, guys, still falling off a cliff. Oh my lord. Yeah, this is why I was not stoked about dip trading this one the rest of the day, because it did the same thing pre-market, and this is what caught me. This is where I got stopped out of trading for the day. It fell off a cliff on the dip trades, and you got to be careful with the dip trades because you're taking like micro base hits, right? You're getting like 2-3% is a good trade, but you're risking those 10% flashes. That's why I'm only dip trading typically when the price action slows down a little bit. I got way too aggressive trading ASTC pre-market, and that's what stopped me out for the day. Big mistake on my end. I should have never done that, but it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you got to try a few things. This time it just didn't work out. So I don't know. It's a nasty ticker. That's a big sell-off. It could easily bounce, have like a 5-10% bounce, but it could easily just break 4 and keep on selling off. It's just, it's a tough one. Yeah, Weeble's lag is really, really next level. Yeah, Aaron, good observation. I feel like that's not always the case, but today it's. I feel like the tickers were just very, very flushy to some extent. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes if pre-market is bad, I'm always like, maybe we're gonna have a beautiful market open, and I feel like sometimes that's actually more the case. But I think today the stocks we had were more so what was bad. Well, I don't know. Some of you guys are probably killing it, so it's tough to say. For me personally, it was not good, but for some of you guys, probably cleaned up, right? Yeah, exactly, Corey. That's kind of what I was kind of getting at. Sometimes if pre-market is slow, it means, we're like there was a big leg up, there was consolidation, maybe from like 6:30 to like 9 consolidation, and then we have that second leg up. That's where we have that, gap and go classic move. But lately, pre-market has had a lot of the action. Yeah, Snap is actually like exploding today. I actually have not looked into it too much on why it's up so much. Have you? Kind of reminds me of GM right now. GM had such a solid breakout with that Hummer EV release. Oh, they're up on earnings. Okay, yeah, that's a big move on earnings actually. Could be their first profitable quarter. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, GM's a solid move to the upside right now. I'd be looking for GM to have a bigger pullback, maybe to the 32.5s, and then kind of start accumulating in that area. It's been a pretty strong move here, so I'd be a little bit weary on how I want to go about GM, but I have a little bit of a video that came out pre-market if you guys are interested in my thoughts on GM. What swing trades are we currently long? That's a good question. We can leave that open for now. So let's actually open up the accounts and then we'll see what our swing trades are. I think at the moment we're actually green on our swing trades, which is nice because I'm still down quite a bit on ADT. Home security. I do think they're going to have a bit of a turnaround here. I'm kind of holding this one until either a retest of 8 and it looks like it's not going to reverse, or some bad news comes out. That's when I would be stopping out. But right now I don't really see a major reason to sell. I would almost even consider averaging down into this one, but then I'd be over allocated, so I'm not. Overall, we have, what do we got here? HYLN. We had a dip on this one near 2307, so we're back almost in the green on that one. DKNG, we have LMND. GE, this one's doing pretty well. This is one of our better ones. HCAC, I always say that wrong. ADT, like we just mentioned, and then KCAC. So yeah, today my swing trades are kind of making my accounts a little bit nicer looking. Yeah, D Reeves, usually after the dividend, it sells off, right? So stock goes up for pretty much what you'd be getting for the dividend. After the dividend, usually the stock goes back down. I don't really know anyone that does any dividend tradings, but it's got to be a thing. I would only assume. Internet's a little bit slow right now. Let's actually throw up this article while TD Ameritrade's loading again. I'm not sure where the issues are coming from TD Ameritrade, but they are coming out of nowhere right now. Dividend capture strategy is what it's called. Income-focused stock trading strategy, popular with day traders. Okay, conscious traditional approaches. So yeah, time-oriented investment strategy involving a time, well, I wouldn't really call it an investment strategy because you're trading, involving a time purchase and subsequent sale of dividend-paying stocks, right? Okay. Dividend companies busy calls for buying a stock just prior to the ex-dividend date in order to receive the dividend, and then sell immediately after the dividend is paid. Like the viability of this strategy has come into question. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is really something that I would look into. I've always kind of heard about it, kind of considered that people do it. I mean, there's got to be a big herd of people that are, profiting from this, or else it wouldn't exist. But yeah, it's not really something for me. So you're pretty much buying before the dividend date, and then you're selling afterwards, right? something to maybe look into a little bit more just to gain some understanding about it, but it's not really for me. I got enough on my plate as it is. Let's get back to talking about some of these swing trades here. Am I in RKT? I think RKT I'm not in just yet. I just have a limit order for it. So GE, why are my trades not showing up? This is a little bit annoying, guys. I apologize for this. TD Ameritrade sometimes really slow at this time of day, and it's not populating my trades on the chart. So you'll have to kind of work with me here a little bit. GE, we had an entry somewhere around this area. I was kind of averaging down here in this area for quite some time. Right now we're finally in an upwards trend, finally broke some big resistance here, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And I'm looking to ride GE until we have some bigger resistance, maybe around 8, and then ideally a break of 8, then hold this one for a bit of time. I don't mind because it's my Roth IRA account. With RKT, my God, TD Ameritrade is so slow right now. But no, I don't do options. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot to say right now because we're having some issues. In the meantime, let's actually check out, here's another article that I think is probably worth going through. It's a pretty recent one, October 16th. Right now it's October 21st. The 16th was when was that? That was a Friday, right? So a pretty recent article here. They went public on the 30th of September. I like how they really emphasize via direct listing, one of the few companies that has chosen on this route. It's funny because, well, I think it's funny because all of the SPACs, right, blank check companies we've been seeing lately, it's kind of ridiculous how many SPACs popped up this year. I feel like it was not a thing in previous years. It's been around for I think like couple of decades. It's not necessarily a new concept, but it's turning into a really hot way to IPO. So they really emphasize that part. So this guy, Mark R. Hake, finds the company very interesting, but he does not think it's a buy. The following seems to be seen in the company's operation shows its uniqueness or the I respect. Oi, what just happened? He says, I respect the contrarian attitude toward the typical Silicon Valley mindset. They go against the grain, so to speak, in that they are one of the few dedicated defense and law enforcement software companies. That's true. Silicon Valley is usually a little bit more free for all. Yang Yu Den, welcome to the team. Since I'm not trading right now, I actually have a little bit more time to check out what's going on in the community. Hughtran, welcome. You guys like that pumpkin that pops up? Gotta get a little bit festive over here. So he's not super stoked about the cash flows right now. I worked in the Pentagon for a good while at a senior policy level under the Reagan administration. This was in a very sensitive area, and I had top secret and other high-level classification areas of access. High-tech transfer issues. Typically, I came across a health and similar companies like Palantir, although much smaller. We hired these companies to do specialized research. So their contracts. We used to call these companies Beltway bandits. Because their offices were usually in the nice office buildings around lucrative contracts. The companies never really want to go public though, since they did not want to show the profits they were making. Everyone wanted to go work for them when their government jobs became too boring. Not me. I went to work on Wall Street. Its government contracts would look overpriced if they started showing to me projects. And that's where the government audit office kind of comes in play. Because government really has no sense of scale in software purchasing, for example. So it's kind of like their thesis goes against the way the government works a little bit. Tristan Kruger, interesting statement. Was it a lot about contribution profits and contribution margin, but these are all non-profit. Okay, so yeah, interesting. Contribution profits. That's actually kind of a new term for me. I was not aware of that one. So it's basically profits without all the marketing spend, right? Since they have those kind of government deals. So I guess if you want to invest in this asset class, it could be, I mean, PLTR would be kind of one of your options. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of options, right, for this kind of ticker. So that's what I think would make PLTR maybe a case. It's hard to say entirely at this point what the case would be. It seems like a lot of insiders are just kind of dumping it. Doesn't have a dividend, so holding on to this one doesn't totally make sense for that aspect. But the insiders are just kind of selling like crazy. That was my first red flag. I was like, why are the insiders selling at all these levels? And they're not even necessarily high levels either. Yeah, free cash flow. If you ever did a finance class, is like the holy grail. Like free cash flow. I don't know why I can't say that right now. Free cash flow is a really important metric. So this guy says basically avoid PLTR until it's willing to show positive cash flow. Yeah, interesting assessment. Or what I would say from a more technical perspective, a technical analysis perspective from day trading is until you see some sort of really big rounded bottom and some sort of higher high being placed in, right? That'd be another way to maybe assess this. But yeah, interesting article for sure. I kind of like his perspective. I like that this guy has a bit more of a background from the Pentagon, not really necessarily, I don't know. It's just good perspective here. And then now he works on Wall Street, so kind of interesting there. I don't think I can assume that just moving it low and important. Yeah, Eric, that's probably not a bad way to go about trading this one for sure. So I think, buying at those lows and just kind of either selling into the spikes is an interesting setup, or like Brent says, accumulate. But yeah. Okay, so it looks like TD Ameritrade is being a little bit more responsive here. So let's see how much we can squeeze out of TD Ameritrade before maybe something crashes again. GE, like you see here, we were accumulating kind of down these zones. Oh boy. Let's see if I can drink some water before I forget how to talk. Yeah, and now it's doing a nice little uptrend. Let's keep going here to RKT. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Is TD Ameritrade really slow for you guys right now? It's really not working for me. Thoughts on VZ, Verizon, right? Breaking to the downside a little bit lately. I think it could be good. Verizon has a lot of, it seemed like some deep collaborations. I don't know a lot about Verizon, to be honest. But I was watching the Apple iPhone 12 release, and they were mentioning Verizon and 5G in pretty much every other sentence. So that is something worth noting. So that's a pretty solid partnership. Any sort of deal with Apple like that, they must have some sort of deal. I have not looked into that, so I couldn't really comment, but from first glance, it looks like there's got to be some sort of deal going on with Apple and Verizon. When the platform is slow, they should get fined. The McCafe IPO? I actually have not looked into that IPO. MCFE. Filing date on September 28th, 37 million shares, low price range 19 to high price range 22. Proposed offering amount, $758 million. Yeah, that's a pretty solid IPO for sure. I don't know. I would have to look into it. No comment on that yet. DKNG, we had a nice entry here, and we had kind of a triple bottom zone, or at least a little bit of a double bottom here. A lot of big selling momentum. This thing has sold off so much since the highs there, 35%. And like I've commented before, we're near these original breakout zones after all the contracts were coming out, Michael Jordan, the NFL, all those kind of big news. I like where DKNG is. I feel fairly confident with this one. I think there's some good upside here for at least a retest of maybe 50, or if not 50, 47, 48. That's a 14% upside. And I think, we're maybe be risking a continuation down to 40 until there's somewhat of a bounce. So to me, this is like a 1 to 3, 1 to even 4, maybe risk reward setup here with DKNG. So I like this overall setup with DKNG. Let's go to Rocket. I feel like this one just is not letting me talk about it. Bren's wondering, is it greedy to buy Rocket now? I don't know, probably not, but let's see. It might be a good starter size. Yeah, Toby. I keep trying to get into RKT, and TD Ameritrade just doesn't let me. So right now we're at this key $20 zone. This is a critical level because we had the first kind of initial pullback in these zones, and it became the first kind of big support zone. We had some bounces off this area. We cracked down, we came back, and then we broke it, and then it became resistance. We had a failed breakout here, and then eventually it became support, and then we had a big run up here. So 20 is a really, really key zone on RKT. And then we kind of came back here. We had some bounces, try to break it, and then we had another bounce. So right now we're technically having a triple bottom on RKT. I was looking for a possible break of 20. I don't know if it's going to happen. I really don't. The sell volume on this one is so light that I just don't really know if we're even going to get a crack of 20. I don't know. But I like this area. I like the fact that, you know, we're buying technically near lows. I could see this one actually kind of getting into a bit of a sell frenzy and dipping back to like the 17.5s, the 18s. I really could kind of see that. So that makes me a little bit iffy even buying now. I could also see this having another bounce here, maybe going up 5% before it actually dips. So maybe buying now, taking that 5% and then rebuying later could also be an option. It's a tricky one to say. It's just kind of been selling off here. So it's not super exciting. Actually, I gotta say, this setup right now kind of reminds me of the weird consolidation we're seeing on Express. We're having a little bounce to the upside, we're consolidating, and a little bit of selling momentum kind of coming in here. Yeah, I don't know how I want to go about it. I do think trading RKT in the 20s would be a good pick. So it's just tough. It's just tough. This ticker, you have to remember, on the IPO, it was undersubscribed. There wasn't as many investors looking to go long RKT, Quicken Loans. So I think it is lacking a little bit of proper valuation. So right now, since we failed to hold these highs, it's going to start testing the downside. It's going to see how low can we go right now is basically the question, before people are like, no, I can't let this company go any lower. This is a great buying zone. That's really the question right now. So we tested the highs. At these highs, people clearly thought it was overextended and they wanted to take profits. And now it's kind of like doing the reverse of that, seeing, you know, how low can it go before, you know, people are just like, you know what, I'm not selling in this area. If anything, I'm going to accumulate. So that's the big question. Maybe usually a big sign of that is some sort of rounded bottom, something like this. So, you know, you could wait for maybe the lows and then start buying on the way back to the upside, or you can start guessing where the lows are going to be and maybe keep trading the dips on the way down. It's a tough one. RKT is definitely not a momentum trade at this moment. I think that's what makes it so tough. How long does it take you to restart your software? Yeah, sometimes not too long. I might do it. I've done it many times before. Not today, but it's an option, Eric. BYDDF. We can maybe check that one out. Let me go through here first, and then we can check out some of the other tickers. XPEV, still no trade on me, just kind of holding a limit order below 17. Solid rally it's had, but it looks like it failed to hold its highs. Right now it's possibly trending to the downside, so I'd be careful with that one. ADT, man, I gotta say this thing is still selling off here. It's not the nicest place to be on this one, but we're in a huge support zone between 730 and kind of like this $8 area. I could see, you know, having to hold this one for a little bit longer before we have some sort of move to the upside. If I was going to probably sell ADT at this point, I'd probably be selling on some sort of spike to the upside. I think it could easily happen. This was a former spiker on that Google News, and at this point, I don't know. It depends how many backholders are on here, like me. HYLN, let's keep going. This is the ticker EV stock trucking company that Kramer said could be reaching the 20s. It's really started slowing down on the selling momentum. That's actually why I did a secondary dip trade in this area. I hope no bad news comes out about this company, anything that is possible ultimately, but I do kind of like this general buy zone roughly at 23. Maybe it will crack a little bit lower. This is actually one of my bigger losers at the moment, I think. Yeah, 244. I'm still waiting for a crack above 25, and then ideally maybe even a retest of the 30s. So that'd be about $5 a share profit, which, you know, 15% move. But yeah, right now I am kind of down quite a bit, and you know, if it goes to 20, we'd be down a pretty decent size. So I have to kind of think about how I want to go about this one. I'm really following the price action quite closely on HYLN, and it does seem like it's fading a little bit, the sell momentum, but at the moment it's still in a very strong downwards trend. At least we didn't buy near the highs, and we're buying near big support. So I do feel like it's an okay hold, and I'm just not sure how much it's going to keep selling off. RXT, rack space, looking for that crack of the 16s and then going, actually the crack of the 17 and then going to the 16s. We had a nice rounded bottom here, just like Rocket Loans, and I'm looking for an accumulation in this zone around 1650, 1620, something in that area would be really, really nice. I'm not sure if we're going to get a dip that big. LMND was actually a recent one we added to the list. I have a limit order here for a secondary buy on LMND. I actually might move this limit order a little bit lower because this pop to the upside was a little bit weaker than I would have wanted. And if I had a full execution on this one, full entry, I probably would have taken profits and been waiting for a bigger dip. So I don't know, a lot of selling momentum here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit cautious with this one. Might really end up managing this position a little bit. KCAC pulling back here a little bit, having a nice pullback. I'm looking for a continuation on KCAC. Still long that one. HCAC. Some of these tickers I have such a hard time saying. HCAC. I don't know why. Also long this one. NSC Capital Acquisition Corp. A lot of these SPACs, a lot of these EV SPACs right now are near big support. I'm kind of waiting for some sort of new rally to come in, some sort of new catalyst. The sell volume is very light. It doesn't look like people are very interested in selling these. So I feel like right now is a good time to maybe accumulate, but that is all for anticipation of some catalysts coming out and ideally finding the SPACs that are, good values, and then looking for that move to the upside. So a lot of these trades we're talking about right now aren't momentum picks. So just keep that in mind. Like DKNG, that was a momentum play when we originally traded it. And then Jets, I'm waiting for a big pullback. So let me just review DKNG just one more time very quickly here. So originally when we traded DKNG, we had that big breakout of 40, right? That was a momentum stock. This thing was being picked up. There was a lot of news about it. This thing just started breaking out to new highs. That's why we started picking it up at 40 and then we sold at 50. We got a nice run there. And right now we're kind of on the backside of that move, right? It's not a momentum pick anymore. So just, know what you're trading, what strategy you're trading. That's really important. Yeah, BTC's on fire right now, up 7.23%. That's ridiculous. I didn't accumulate as much as I wanted to at the 10K, but nice move. Yeah, the McAfee IPO is definitely worth looking into. I'll make sure to write that down so I don't forget about it. Michael's wondering if I can go live trading after hours. I don't really trade after hours. It's already pretty late over here, and I need some downtime too at one point. Choo choo. Yeah, our IoT is probably on fire today, huh? Let's check it out. Yeah, really sweet move here, huh? Beautiful stuff. 66% pop there. If I was long RIOT, I guess I would keep riding it with the momentum of Bitcoin right now. I would just get very nervous near bigger resistance zones and for future offerings, which RIOT is very, very famous for. So Long term, I would be just extremely careful with RIOT. But short term, you know, it's on a nice little rally here, so it's looking pretty strong for now. Oh, JKS finally pulled back. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a Chinese solar company, $3.2 billion. It's actually the largest, I think, solar company. They're all over the world. They have operations all over the world. They have one of the more efficient solar panel structures as well. And they've been on a ridiculous, I mean, absolutely ridiculous rally. I don't think I've seen a daily chart this aggressive on really kind of any, especially a large cap, let alone a solar company. These things have been consolidating for like decades, it feels like. 374% rally. This could be its kind of first bigger red day here, which, guys, always remember, a first big red day, especially a big crack in upwards momentum, is usually a crack of momentum. No, I said that wrong. A big crack. Let me just use an example because I can't speak right now. So when we were trading space, we held this one for quite some time. We were accumulating somewhere, I think, in the 20s. I bought on this breakout here. I think it was here, the breakout, roughly at 20. Yeah, I bought at 22, and I decided to hold this company until I identified a crack in momentum. To me, we had a big blow off top here, and then we instantly flushed back down, and we bounced back up. It was getting a little bit crazy. After I saw all these kind of big cracks in momentum, that's when I ended up selling SPCE, and luckily we got out somewhere okay near the highs here at 38. So just be careful. Once there's like those big cracks in momentum, price gets a little bit more volatile, there's big explosions to the upside and downside, that's when you want to think about, okay, well, maybe we've hit some sort of top, so maybe it's time to take some profits. And I don't know if that's what's happening right now with JKS. It looks like it's not too explosive, but at the same time, you know, 90 is a, you know, it's a big psychological zone. We're right below 100. Maybe people are going to be waiting for 100, but right now, this could be one of those cracks. DKNG lockup expired today. Well, if the lockup expired today and it's green, that's actually a pretty bullish sign. So it looks like the anticipation for it is now kind of wearing off a little bit, which is good. So it really depends. Let's see if a bunch of people actually dump their shares, but I feel like at these prices, insiders might not be dumping. We'll see. WFC. I use Wells Fargo. It's one of my banks. I use several banks, but Wells Fargo is one of them. And I find them okay. I feel like they're always doing something shady. I feel like there's always some sort of bad PR coming out about Wells Fargo. But as an account holder, I feel like I'm always fairly happy with them in terms of like if I get an overdraft fee or if something goes wrong, I always get on a call with a real person fairly fast. They fix the issue. I'm not a traumatized client, let's just say. I'm actually one of those clients that was originally with Wachovia, like way back in the day. That's like 10 years ago. And then Wachovia was bought out by Wells Fargo, and that's how I became a Wells Fargo client. And I just never really left. I don't know. I don't find them necessarily... I find like the online banking a little bit unideal at times, but they've been making some big progress on the online banking front, so that's kind of good. Honestly, at these prices, Wells Fargo, unless it's literally going bankrupt, like, looks like a pretty good deal on first glance. I have not looked into Wells Fargo for pretty much ever, so I would have to really do some serious due diligence first. But I gotta say, the upside seems to totally outweigh the possible downside. If the company is a good pick overall. Toby says he was part of Wachovia as well. Yeah, Wachovia was a chill bank. They kind of just, I don't know, it was good stuff. I never had any issues with them. I was also much younger back then, so I don't know. Maybe it's just my memory is not as good, and I just don't remember the horrible stuff. But it was one of my first banks, and I was like, yeah. Eric says he's always been traumatized by Wells Fargo. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear, man. Wachovia's logo looked like one of those classic things from the 90s. Like, you know those teal, like, paper cups? That's what kind of Wachovia reminds me of. If anyone doesn't know what their logo looks like, this is it. I spelled Wachovia. It's Wachovia. A Wells Fargo company. Brad. That's a valid point. Oh, Tan, man, sorry to hear. I feel your pain though. I'm also right on the day, and it is what it is. You just gotta, stop out and get back on the wagon tomorrow. So if we go to our unlimited account, you can see we're down $469 based on our day trading today. So that's just never a fun place to be. JC, at least you're not red, man. I'd rather have a slow day than a red day. Shondi, thoughts on AMD? It has 2 important days next week, reporting earnings. I'm never a big fan of trading around earnings, because even if the earnings are up and it's not up as much as expectations, all of a sudden it has a red day and you're like, oh, I don't know. I think AMD is a great company, and I think in the next few years they're really going to possibly start surpassing Intel, because a lot of laptop manufacturers, anything from Asus to Dell, they need to pick what kind of chips they're going to be using, usually for the next 1, 2, 3 year models, right? So it's usually these. They don't change their chips that quickly, and right now you see this trend where a lot of people and a lot of manufacturers are responding to the requests of the people and switching out into AMD chips. So I think AMD is still a great acquisition or a part of a portfolio. The problem is this thing's exponential run. I just feel like it's a little bit hard for me buying in these areas. So I was originally waiting for the crack of 75, getting closer to the 70s. I'm still going to wait for that. I don't think AMD is a buy for me just yet. I think it's a buy overall, but short term, I would like to see this pull back a little bit more. Those earnings are going to be mad interesting. I'm quite curious to see what happens. But I'll tell you, like, researching laptops now for the last 3 months, AMDs are just popping up more and more requests are coming out for them. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Eric, really good point on that. Those were huge contracts alone. And then we have Apple leaving Intel. That's also massive news. Good calls. Let's quickly check out the day trading tickers here for the day. Just kind of see what's going on, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up, kind of close out here a little bit earlier since we didn't do any trading today. And then yeah, let's see. So ASTC, wow, this thing pretty much sold off the rest of the day. Really nice bounce off of 4. In hindsight, you could always say it's predictable, but in the past, I also did a trade off of 4, and then it went down another 7%. So in hindsight, everything's 2020. I really, I got too aggressive on this one. And look at this sell-off. I mean, this sell-off here is ridiculous. 32% in just pretty much one clean red 1 minute slate to the downside. That's why in these areas, I was like, be careful dip buying this one, guys. I haven't seen something sell off this aggressively in quite some time. So my dip trading strategy today was really not the strategy that you'd want to go with. TGC, just small caps overall are just weird today. TGC really fell off a cliff. Honestly, trading the large caps today seemed like the way to go. Snap had some beautiful moves, perfect almost pullbacks and then rips. Really nice. I mean, this thing's trading like a small cap. You just have to use bigger position size because, this thing, like a perfect trade on this one's like 2%, 3%, not even like 1%. So you really want to be throwing in the position size here a little bit more. The WWR sell-off. Is anyone still trading WWR? Honestly, guys, I think WWR might be, if you're into like overnight risky setups, I would maybe even consider trading WWR off a bounce off of 4. I'd be so careful though if it broke 4. I'd be cutting losses quick, but I think it's going to have one of those days. We see this all the time. After a long sell-off period, usually after a little bit of consolidation, there's going to be like, an easy 10, 20, 30% bounce off the lows. Any sort of news, I don't know. They uncovered a new rock with extra amount of graphite, and they're not going to mine it, but they think it's cool. Boom, stock up 100%. So you just never know. But I think in these areas, there's going to be so many bag holders, so many people that are just not selling, and any catalyst will drive this thing up. I probably won't do it. I used to do stuff like that quite a lot when I first started trading because I thought it was kind of fun. To me, it's not consistent enough. Sometimes you make a nice home run, and then sometimes you just keep holding a bag for another month or two. So it's not really a trading strategy that I really liked. That's why I don't do it, but I always kind of fantasize about those things a little bit. It's kind of like my little wet trader dream, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like literally Trump like looks in the direction of WWR and it goes crazy. Like this run-up was like they were applauding Trump for some of his decisions he made on U.S. mining kind of policies, and it just runs up so crazy. So yeah, I don't know, very weird. All right, guys, let's wrap it up here. Like I said, it's a red day for me. I got stopped out pre-market. Always kind of upsetting when that happens. I'm down $469 pre-market day trading today. It is what it is. Overall, we're still green on the week. We're still green on the month. It's been a great month, and I hope we can end it as our best one. We just got to keep doing what we're doing, not do anything too silly, calm and collected, and yeah, I think things are going to keep going good. But today was a little bit of a setback, but that's day trading for you. That's just how it goes. So guys, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and welcome to all the new people joining the community. Happy to have you here. Sorry, Felix, I didn't mean to ignore you. MRIN off of VWAP. It's always hard to check all the chats, or not all the chats, the chat. A lot going on. Yeah, MRIN, little pop here to the upside. Honestly, man, I'd be really careful with this one. It's near a huge resistance. I mean, I've been off my flow a little bit today, but 75% pullback near big resistance again. I'd be careful. This thing's going to flush any moment. It could keep going, but sketchy stuff. You and me both, final countdown. Take care, guys. Brent grew the bags today. Sorry to hear, but something about that sounds really funny. MRIN, look at it. It's trying. We'll see what happens later. All right, guys. Take care. I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.